Hello, I'm Fred Beal with LogDovetailJig.com, and today I'm going to do a little video on building the log dovetail jig. You'll need to order plans, and the plans are customized for your particular log size. So when you order the plans from my website, you'll specify the log width that you're going to use, and the height, and the gap between the logs, and I'll run the calculations and customize the jig plans specifically for your project. So the first step in the build is to build a small template. So I'm going to lay that out now, cut that, and then I'll lay out the side panels for the left-hand jig. Let's get started. So for this last cut, this is a bevel cut. So I'm going to have the saw blade tilted to 11-degree angle to make this bevel cut. For the right-hand jig, the saw has to tilt to the other direction. So for that jig, it helps to have a saw that can bevel the other direction. Okay, and now I'm going to lay out the second panel for the left-hand jig. First thing I'm going to do is label it. And I'll put a little 2 there just to remind me this is the second panel. I made the first one already. So just like before, we're going to lay out our center line for the long dimension. The board is 18 inches wide. So I'm going to mark 9 inches at each end. Now I'm going to mark over 12 1/4. So these dimensions I'm giving you are the standard dimensions. Only some of the dimensions change for these jigs depending on the cabin project. A lot of the dimensions are standardized to keep things simple. So the dimensions A, B, C, and D are the 4 custom dimensions. So the first panel I built had the custom dimensions A and B. The template was used to lay out this angle. So really the only controlling variable for this shape is this dimension right here and that dimension. So for the other panel of the left-hand jig, dimension A stays the same. Dimension C is a custom dimension. And you do want to be as precise as you can. The dimensions are given to the 32nd of an inch. So you can use a standard tape measure that reads to the 16th of an inch and then add or subtract a 32nd to try to make it a little more precise. So here's our dimension A point. And we're going to have this sloping angle going down generally in this direction. So what I'll do is use this template that we made earlier, align this straight edge with this pencil line, slide it up until it hits my pencil mark for dimension A, get this just exactly right and hold it, and then I'll mark this line. And we'll make those nice and dark. And be careful not to cut these lines. Those lines do not get cut. And just as before, this is a bevel cut. So we're taking this piece out and taking this piece out. Okay, so here again you can see the 2 panels. Okay, now we've got the pieces cut for the left-hand jig. We've got the first panel, dimension A and B were used to make that panel. Second panel, dimensions A and C were used. So essentially we're just building a box with these panels. And what I'm going to do is tack them together with finished nails, and then come back in and add screws later. Okay, we're all done putting the jigs together. Very easy project. Just a basic 3/4 inch plywood, skill saw, measuring tape, pencil, straight edge. An additional saw to make the bevel in the opposite direction is nice. Jigsaw can be used for that. Table saw, band saw. So again, these jigs are custom for a certain size log and gap. So if you decide you're going to build a log cabin, decide what size logs you have available to you, and decide how you're going to have those milled, what thickness, what height, and the gap distance between each log. And when you order your plans, specify those dimensions, and I'll customize your jig plans for you, so you'll have tailor-made jigs specifically for your project. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.